Hi, everybody, and welcome to the RHAP B&B for episode 11 of Survivor 46. My name is Mike Bloom, and the satisfaction that you get from 23 slices of pizza is nothing compared to the satisfaction we have watching Survivor 46 so far, as the mess keeps on messing, and somehow this episode ended up being a rerun of the previous two episodes in the best way possible, as we are here to see Venus fall out of orbit and perhaps talk about another star taking her place. We have a motley trio in today to break down everything. Of course, let me welcome in somebody who would lovingly call me her sweet, messy little friend. It is Liana Boris. Liana, how are you?
Yes, I would absolutely call you that. Look, I'm ready. I'm just like Jeff. I've got my butt seat pad ready. I did forget the licorice though. I hope that's okay. Although Twizzlers, red vines, very curious to know. So Mike, hopefully you can get to the bottom of that with your exit press. Other than that, ready to go.
Don't need no exit press. I believe Ben confirmed on Twitter that they were red
Yes.
vines. So, which I don't know. I don't know if it helps
Oh.
or hurts because, yeah, like I have a disdain for licorice due to Twizzlers, which taste like God, like the concept of emptiness, just like absolute nothing. And so red vines, like I'd be more on board for that, but I don't want to break this podcast up like they had to break up that one piece of licorice to give out. We have a very exciting guest to bring in. I'm so pumped to officially bring the crown in for the Pixel Queen herself. We're celebrating a belated Mother's Day because she is a mother of Survivor 44, and she officially ate more worms than the number of idols played on season 46. It is from Survivor 44, Jaime Lynn Ruiz. Jaime, how are you?
I'm doing so well. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me. I'm excited. I'm actually really excited to hear that it was a red vine. I had no idea that it was red vine and not like licorice or like a Twizzler. Twizzler is like sweet plastic.
That's a great way to describe it. Better than my existential
Emptiness.
comparison. Yeah. Yeah, sweet plastic. It's just like, yeah, so I'm glad that like Jeff doesn't like licorice either, he confirmed. So I don't know who this was
Why?
for or where this idea came from.
But like, then why licorice of all? Like, there's so many candies that you could have. They're like movie candies. Why licorice?
They are on an island. Like, there's that list runs significantly thinner.
Right?
Special delivery for Dots.
Yeah, I guess I do wonder what his like perfect movie food would have been, because I think that's sort of the list he was moving down, right? I don't know. We talked about this with Franny. Jaime, how would you have felt if Jeff started eating licorice in front of you?
I would have said the same thing. Like, are you going to share? Because it's like your mouth, you are so hungry. And at that point, it's like eating in front of you. I mean, I remember being on the island and you're so hungry that you can actually smell what the cast and crew had for lunch. It's like, I think you might have had pad thai for lunch. I'm not sure. But when you're, especially if you're really close to like a cameraman, anyway, I definitely, I know that we all would have begged for a bite of whatever he had.
Yeah, at that point you're like, I don't care. I will eat empty plastic candy if it means getting a bite of something to eat.
Yes. I love that Ben grabbed it and just started sharing it right away. It's like,
yeah.
Yes,
Well, they picked the perfect person to give it to, because imagine like Q would have been like looking Liz dead in the eye as he stuffs it all in his mouth. Maria would have like given half to Q and then would have been like, all right, the rest of you play odds and evens to figure out who's going to get the other half.
Right. Exactly. Oh,
that's the other thing too. Like, how Q ate 23 slices of pizza and he still gets 1/7 of licorice? How are people letting this man eat so much?
Q gets away with a lot on the island, apparently. I mean, obviously. It is insane. And the way that he was biting that pizza, it's like one bite was a piece of pizza, or one bite per piece.
You just inhaled it.
Yeah, I don't like Q, I'm pretty convinced is supernatural at this point. Because, like, 23 slices of pizza is 3 pizzas. I don't think I've ever heard anyone do that in their lives. It feels like the digestive tract is only so long. Is it like...
Don't like competitive eaters have like 56 hot dogs in like 20 minutes?
I guess
So
that,
I have to imagine, and they did look, to Jamie's point, they looked small enough, right? That like they're not these massive, full, giant slices of pizza. So maybe it was manageable. He's no Joey Chestnut, but still, I think Q could do it.
Yes. I'm always curious on how people feel because I remember it's like you're eating, but then going 0 to 100 with pizza or whatever it is, during our merge feast, it was like really rich, like salami and cheese. You don't really feel very well afterwards. So it's almost like a reward is kind of not a reward.
maybe
I
that's
mean,
what Maria was going for and wanting to bring Q. She's like, no, I
yeah,
actually want to poison him.
that
We talked
is
about this last week, right, Liana? Of like, oh, the secret sabotage.
it is. That's next level strategy, really, because then they're going to be away going to the bathroom the entire time. So if you need to talk game with somebody, like let them go take them to the reward and then feed them well.
Yeah, you'll never see Q again.
Right?
Off of the ocean. Yeah.
Well,
I like
let's
that.
take a bite out of this episode because, all right, so Jamie, Survivor 46 went out to play like 5 days after your season
Yes.
finished. And so I think I should be saying thank you because for whatever reason, the lesson that this cast communally took from your season has produced all of this malarkey that we've experienced over the past, like, at least month and a half, if not the entire season. I gotta get all your thoughts on Survivor 46 so far.
Yes, I'm loving Survivor 46. I mean, is it my favorite season of the new era? I really think it is. I mean, 44, yes, but I love 46. It is insane. They took notes and they one-upped us and they are amazing. Every single person, every individual has that like they're so magnetic, they're so charming, they're so entertaining. And I want to know, like I want everybody to have their own cam so I can like see what's Venus doing, what's what's Hunter doing. And it's been so fascinating to watch. And I do kind of keep that in mind. I'm like, okay, so they saw our finale, they know 44. So I've kind of kept that in mind on like their gameplay, but it's pure chaos. I thought 44 was chaos, but they have redefined chaos in the best way possible because it's like you really don't know what to expect, and it's like they're either playing really, really brilliant or really, really just like, is it controlled chaos? I don't know. At this point, it's like, I mean, you throw Q in there and he's just going to create a chaos that if anybody can kind of wrangle him, then it's impressive, and as I'm looking at like the final 7, final 6 now, it's just been a very great season, and I don't know how it's going to end. I'm so excited, but I'm glad that they took notes from 44 and kind of, they did us proud.
Well, I love that you mentioned Q as one of the instigators of chaos because I feel like he obviously a major player when it comes to all of the like wackadoo stuff that's going on. But it almost feels like now it's other people's time to shine. The fact that Maria did rock, paper, like Maria, the person who I did not expect to be giving chaos, all of a sudden, who does a rock, paper, scissors for a reward? Like, I could not believe. And then not on top of that, but then the people that she chose to play rock, paper, scissors, right? So there's like multiple layers of chaos all in this episode.
Not only that, like, I totally agree. I think the common perception going into this episode was like, wow, there's a lot of kooky characters, but thank God Maria and Charlie are there. They're the only normal people who are doing the correct strategy to keep the ship straight. And then Maria, first off, wins an immunity that she doesn't realize she probably had to because Charlie decided finally, you know what? It's been long enough since I've decided to turn on my number one ally. I think I'm going to do so as well. And then when she does, it's not just, to your point, Liana, rock, paper, scissors. It's not just completely, leaving out like they're the one person who hasn't eaten something in the past few days in Venus. It is also the fact that apparently she took the equivalent of a dog year to think through how to do this. And that's the conclusion she came to. That she gave a significant pause to just mull over her choices. And she said, I think I've settled upon the best option. And the option is no option. I think you two should fight for it. After she said, I'm going to make this final tribal council right now. Can you all pitch me as to why I should take you on the reward?
That was insane, especially for Maria. I was surprised because she seems very calculated and methodical with everything that she does. So for her to kind of stand back, and it was a lot longer than obviously we saw, it was surprising because it didn't feel like Maria-ish. It felt like Maria would have gone into it and known, like, hey, this is who I want to take, and had some kind of strategy behind it. But she just kind of left it. I think when people do that, it's almost like they are letting their emotions take over, and they can't help it because they're thinking about everybody else's emotions. Obviously, taking that long. I'm surprised that there wouldn't have been like a timer, Jeff kind of refereeing that.
Yeah. I mean, what do you do in that situation? It's like you can and you will from Jeff to Maria. I think that, I mean, obviously, okay, Jamie, you're maybe the perfect person to ask about this, but like before a reward, right? Like, would you think about, okay, if I were to win this, like who would I pick? Like, do you plan it out ahead of time? So at least if you are in that situation, you're not like complete deer in headlights. You've actually had some moment to think about it beforehand. Cause it's not like that's going to change all that much because of the challenge, right?
Yeah, I think you do kind of go into it, especially even in the morning when we get our tree mail, you're guessing what it's going to be, reward and or immunity plus reward, and you go into it kind of knowing what it's going to look like for you if I win, and then also, who else do I want to win if it's not me, because I want to go on that reward. And so I can't imagine that she wouldn't have been thinking that pre even starting the game. So I think that is something that you definitely think about before the game even starts. You're that morning you already have it planned out. I would hope so, but in Maria's case, unfortunately not.
Well, maybe though. Here's a theory that I have.
Ooh.
Because listen, we know that Charlie has been trying to like realize, okay, Maria's taking all the credit for this. This is her move. I think he said like I was not at the captain's table or whatever analogy he decides to use. Notably, when Maria is deliberating on who to take, Charlie's like, I'm out. I'm going to cue it right now. Don't pick me for this. What if Charlie did this because he knew he'd be an easy out for Maria? That maybe Maria did think over ahead of time. Who am I going to bring? And she's like, I'm going to bring Ben and I'm going to bring Charlie. I'm going to bring my boys. They didn't go to Applebee's, so we could use this as an excuse. And did Charlie, purposefully or not, be like, nope, the easy option's gone now. You're going to have to now pick between, that worst case scenario final three of Q, Liz, and Venus to figure out who's going to go alongside you.
I think that Charlie is smart enough to be thinking that far ahead. And he's been kind of hiding behind Maria anyhow, as he mentioned. That's been his game plan. We really saw it this episode, him wanting to differentiate his game, and then knowing that he needs to control the visibility and the perception that everybody has of him. And by taking himself out of that and putting the pressure on her, it kind of grows her target even more, which is kind of what he's been trying to do in the first place. And I love that for him because he knows how important it is, especially when you have like a number one that you're working really closely with, to build the relationships outside of that, so that everybody around you, especially once you get to like final 7, final 6, it's like everyone you're playing with needs to believe that you are going to the end with them. And by him doing that, it's just setting that up for him so well. Now after this episode, I was so impressed by his tactfulness in doing that. And really, he and Maria have both displayed such finesse with the moves that they've had to make, like the Tiffany vote. I mean, it's just been brilliant to see the way that they've had to keep certain people out of the votes and how they made that happen. I'm proud of Charlie though for kind of stepping outside of this, and we're really hearing a lot more of his perspective in that duo than really Maria. I know she's
Hmm.
taking a lot of the credit, but with the way that he's explaining his positioning of it, it's like he's moving the chess pieces. So it's cool to see.
I think for Charlie, in a season of unexplained decisions, to hear somebody cleanly articulate, this is what I'm doing, this is why I'm doing it, and this is my plan, is just really nice to see. Now, him stepping out of the decision for Maria, I don't know, Mike. That might be a bit of a stretch. I'd love to think that that was the case, but it did feel like, I mean, maybe I'd have to rewatch it again now with that like idea in my head, but it did feel like a direct response to something that Maria had said, and like Kenzie stepped out immediately right afterwards. So I don't know, but maybe you're onto something, Mike.
Well, we talk about Charlie's decision. Let's talk about the fact that, yeah, Charles was in charge in this episode because he was the one seemingly on the surface to decide, okay, there's 3 people voting Venus. There's 3 people voting Q. And I'm in the middle. And he ultimately chooses, and everyone kind of goes along with it, with one exception. I will get to that in a little bit. I'm actually very happy we're recording on Monday because there might be some breaking news with regarding to that. But he decides to vote out Venus. And it seems to be, and according to Venus proper, due to this confounding at best, and I say lovingly, but confounding at best conversation, where Venus has an idol. Yippee! Kalu Kale. Venus has found an idol. Twitter's dreams are coming true. She's like, I'm not gonna tell anybody. And technically she didn't. But she goes to Charlie and hints at it in the worst way I think I've maybe ever seen on Survivor, which is, don't worry about it. I've got a little something up my sleeve. I've got something to back me up. I'll tell you about it later, which I think understandably just sends this man scattering. Now, Jaime, look, it was a bit of a different but similar situation for you. You had an idol you thought you did that you held on to for a long time. Talk from like the Venus perspective. How difficult is it to either not share that information or like try to share it with select parties and hope it doesn't get out?
Well, ideally, you don't want to share it with anyone. And so if somebody spoils it, like in my case, where Matthew told everyone, oh, I have an idol, it was, you're always trying to convince people otherwise. And it's like, you either admit it or you don't. And so as much as, and this season specifically with Tiff, as soon as her idol went public, it's the worst thing ever. It's really at that point, because I really believe you can win this game without an idol and without winning any immunities. If you have a solid social game, you can win. And that just becomes pageantry and distraction when there's these idols and these wins and all this. It just grows targets that don't need to be there. But if you can build a social game without having to even leverage that at all, which I think she was trying to leverage that by sharing it with Charlie in just the worst way possible, because then it's like, we've never really connected. Why would you share this information? And if you're going to share at that point, if you're going to say, hey, this is going to be ours to use, then you need to just be honest and say, hey, this is what I did. This is how I found it. But kind of trying to secretly say, I have something, or like something's going on that you don't know about. It's like, you're just giving like desperate at that point, like you're desperate for like wanting to create a social bond that you obviously do not have. And so it was just really a telltale sign of her social strength within the game. She was kind of trying to throw everything at the wall, and it for Charlie, I know he took it as a red flag, as he should, because it was kind of like out of nowhere. Why would this be the case, especially when everybody is doing this public search? And now that is, I mean, logically really the only thing that could be, you know, he asked like, oh, do you have an advantage? And it was just kind of a weird interaction, but that was like a telltale sign of her socially being weaker, I think, than you know. But then it's like, why wouldn't Charlie then see that? But I think though at that point, anyone that hears idol, it's like, oh my gosh, idol, threat, that's going to prevent me from getting to 5, 4, 3 or 5, 4. So I think at that point, idol is just target, easy to get out and easy to sell it to everybody else as like, that's our ideal person to get out.
Mhm. I think also something to keep in mind is when you reveal in the game, whether it be early or whether it be later, and particularly given the situation of the person you're revealing to. So, for example, Charlie sees himself in the power position. So, anyone who has a tool, particularly at final 7, final 6, that's a huge threat because he is making a plan for how he wants it to move forward. That's something that's outside of his control. And because he has the numbers, then why would he doesn't need that, right? There's no advantage for him to keep that piece in the game. So it makes sense to get her out at that stage. Now, if she were to do it like, let's say early, Charlie's on the bottom and she hints at it, okay, maybe that is someone worth keeping because you want to see how that evolves. You want to see, okay, yeah, I want to keep you in for the mystery. Like, we still have plenty of game to go. Let's see what you have up your sleeve. Like, I want to know. So it was really like the worst of all worlds at this particular, like, it was the worst strategy, the worst timing. It was just, when she started to reveal it, my heart just like sank. It was like, no,
I mean,
don't do it.
to be fair, she felt that way as well. She told me that in the moment, as soon as she's saying it, her brain's like, "What are you doing? Abort! Abort! This is not a good idea."
Yeah.
I mean, so for what it's worth, I think, and this is a bit emblematic, I think, of just Venus's position in the game in general. To your point, Jamie, was that like from her perspective, she was trying to make a collaborative point, but it came across very independent, where she
Right.
was trying to pitch it
Right.
as, "Hey, to your point, Liana, it was the exact opposite of what you were saying of like, oh, you have this thing to get in your way of getting to the final 5, final 4. She was trying to say, no, let's use it to help both of us get to final 5, to get to final 4. But again, the way it came across was like, oh, no, you keep me and I'm going to use this thing against you and I'm not even going to tell you about it, which setting off red flags for Charlie would be an understatement in that moment. And she understands, and she again acknowledges that she feels in that moment that like, that was something that sunk her game, because it's also something that affirms to him what has been said about Venus this entire season. And look, whether it's founded or not, it's a matter of opinion. But I mean, we heard so many times this season, right? Venus is chaos. Venus is mess. She runs around all the time spreading names. She doesn't trust anybody. Nobody can trust her. And so when you're going forward and you're doing this and playing up like, oh, I want to work with you, but I'm not going to be forthcoming with any information, and here's something I might use against you, doesn't that just confirm the point? Doesn't that just set home this narrative of like, you know what it almost is like, honestly, as messy as this was, it's almost comparable to like what happened with Sammy in Survivor 43, which was at the same stage. It was at 7, where kind of, despite it being a divided vote last time, everyone kind of came together and said, none of us can trust Venus, right? So let's all get rid of her. And as a result, it seemed like everyone communally, if you will, joined together to get rid of her.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, did Charlie tell anybody else about what Venus had said? Like, did he then go to like Kenzie and be like, "Look, I understand you want to vote out Q, but we have to get rid of Venus because she's like alluded to this thing." Do you know if that happened?
He told Ben, from
Okay.
what we've seen. This is the conversation where Charlie's like, Venus said that I'm totally fine going to the final 4 with you and Ben and one other. And Ben goes, of course, because she's a poser. Ben's, first
Oh yeah.
insult in his lexicon. And then he does tell her what happened. And Ben kind of comes from this odd angle of like, oh, well, she's just saying anything to be safe, and so we need to get rid of her.
Right. Yeah.
Jamie, give me your take on everything with Venus, because suffice to say, lots to discuss.
Yes, I think Venus is. I think that Venus had a way to the end if. Oh my gosh. Well, obviously, if she would have played the idol, but if she could have rallied in and worked on her social game a lot more than we saw, because it seems like every episode she was like trying to build something up. Like with this, she wanted to rally in Kenzie, like they were leaving the boat, saying, hey, it's okay that we were left out of the boat, or out of the vote last episode, but if we can get together. It's like it was almost like it was too late each episode for her to want to build these relationships. It's like she needed to have a solid she just didn't have a solid social game. And I think that with all the chaos that she had going on, had she had a solid social game to back her up, it would have been fine to play with that kind of chaos, because that's fun. And you can't really keep up, and then it's like, okay, you can make it to the end. With the other with everyone else in the game, though, I am surprised, though, that knowing what chaos she was and knowing that it's this far into the game, why wouldn't they just keep her around at that point? Because it's like, what can she do outside of, Q's pitch was that she might win. But I don't know. I think at that point in the game, it's like it was almost an even playing field for everyone that's still in there for the next couple of immunities. So I don't think that that's a fair point from Q. But I think, though, that it is just a sign of her social game not being there, and especially with everybody's perception and reception of her throughout the game. I think that's kind of what made it easy for it to be a collective choice to vote her out. And especially when they say, or when Charlie had that conversation and brought it up as the idol being that final, I guess, straw that broke the camel's back for her. And but I am surprised, though, that for Venus, her reads on the game were accurate, but it wasn't like she was moving any of the pieces. It's like she just always had the information, because she would insert herself in many situations. And in the one episode, she made it very obvious that she was going to insert herself, but she was always privy to a lot of information, which is great. And that's why she made it so far. But she didn't have the power that she needed to make moves. And so information is great, but if you don't have power, and power is gained through social strength. So if you don't have social, then you're not going to make it anywhere in that game. And I think that's kind of what she was up against there, especially towards the end. And having the idol, it was just an easy out for everybody to say, hey, this is what we're doing. So it was kind of surprising, because I think that if you look at what's coming up next, Fire, I think, anyone could beat her in Fire. I just think that it was...
Well, she did catch on fire, so maybe that actually is a benefit for her.
Right. Yeah, so I definitely think that the final 6 now coming up with, Charlie and Maria having really the power. To me, when I see the final 6, it's like they need to... I'm hoping that they can attack each other this next episode, because that is the only way that either one of them will win. So it's really... And because they're already kind of seeing that and knowing that about each other, I'm excited for this episode coming up. It's exciting.
I mean, we were certainly teased with the Maria Charlie sort of backstabbingness that may or may not happen. I think that I genuinely believe that Charlie was 100% on board to get rid of Q. To me, that makes absolutely strategically makes the most sense.
Yeah.
It as we talked about, the conversation with Venus obviously changed that and put it in a different direction. But then I think maybe that could have worked out for him okay, because like, let's say there's a universe where Q ends up going in this episode, right? Then Maria, let's say, goes next episode. Charlie could very easily go out 5th, because that trio of Venus, Liz, although I don't know what to do with Liz, but I'm going to put Liz in there for a second. Let's say Venus, Kenzie, and Liz end up working together and take out Charlie at that final 5. I think that that's a very, very real possibility.
Yes.
So
Yes.
maybe it kind of worked out for Charlie. We'll have to see. But if he can, because now Maria also theoretically none the wiser. So going into final 6, if he can get out either Q or Maria, then maybe he's in a really good spot.
Yeah, I don't think it's detrimental to his game whatsoever. I know that this was not the ideal decision for him to make, but like, I still think he played the best this week, and that it was the second best outcome for him, but he still has outs. And if anything, to your point, it might have pushed things one step ahead, where if he does take out Q and Maria, now he just has to either win the challenge or win it Fire, and then he's in the final 3. Even if he did take out Q here, it seems like Venus really, really wanted to work with him, to the point where she is even lightly teasing this idol that she wouldn't tell anybody about. So there is still a chance that like she would want to take him far. We just gotta talk back to back.
Oh,
really? How? Well, especially like, I could understand maybe from a Tiffany perspective, people was not confirmed that Hunter had an idol. He had just gone around last minute spreading the information. So maybe you thought like, okay, the last gasp of a dying horse. We don't actually think he had an idol. Tiffany was all but confirmed to have one. And you saw her walk into tribal council under the guise of a plan of an easy vote for Q. She doesn't play her idol, and she gets voted out. I just do not understand how you walk into this tribal council with an idol and say, now I think this easy plan against Q will surely work this time around. I mean, it's unprecedented. Never in the history of Survivor have we had 3 people voted out with idols in a row. It is astoundingly delicious to me. And I think speaks towards, and I say this with love, I think the egocentricity of this cast in particular, where we talked about this with like, you know, Liz talking about how she wanted that soda move, and so she decides to take out Tevin because of it. I really do think this cast has this motto of like, well, it didn't work for them, but it's gonna work for me. I'm pretty sure I can pull off what they can't.
Yeah, and they've been really vocal about like wanting to take credit for moves, and it's like wanting to take credit for moves, but I'm not hearing how they are able to formulate a move leveraging their idol and making a big splashy move with that. Instead, everybody just walks out with it. And for Tiffany, she already pressed her luck once by not playing it, and no one batted an eye. And then for her to twice, oh my gosh, I was screaming at the TV that episode. Like, why? But they are so brave and bold and courageous and confident.
Yeah.
And I think though speaks to a lot of the finesse like that Kenzie had with Hunter, and then that somebody was comforting Tiff. Whoever
it was Charlie. Charlie was doing it.
Charlie comforting Tiff. It's like that's like really great gameplay to have these major players go in with an idol. And which, by the way, Tiff, she mentioned it in an episode because I had the same thought. She needed to just, it's a public idol. Once it becomes public, play it. Play it publicly, get rid of it publicly, play it for someone for fun, whatever you need to do, but get rid of it because it's a huge target for you for the rest of the game. People will be chasing you because of that idol that you don't need to win the game. And so better to just get rid of it, throw it in the fire, like whatever you need to do. Like make a big scene, seriously, because if you really don't need it, like you really don't need it. And everyone that's walked out with it, it's just like they are very brave for working so hard to find the idol and this tool that they really don't need, but then to just, you know, let it go. I know that's the worst thing, and for it to happen as many times this season, it is insane. And it's like really what you want to see. It's like, oh my gosh, yes, like you want to see blindsides in Survivor. You want to scream at the TV, but the way that it's happened, and I remember even like Tiffany, I had a feeling that it was going to be her, but I'm like, no, there's no way. Like she learned from the last one, but it's like nobody is learning from the last tribal. It's like they're going in and just making the same mistake. It's insanity over and over and over again. But it's fun to watch.
So
it's
good.
Fun to scream at the TV. That's how you know it's a good episode.
I think for Venus, when the theme of the season has been taking out your closest allies, you know, I think of course Charlie's going to go for Q. Like he has to. That's what we've been doing. That's the theme of the season.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Venus's closest ally is herself. So of course she took herself out.
Oh, yes, exactly. Well, there you go. She's just sticking with this theme of the season, obviously. But I mean, I think there's like a universe that I can understand Venus's thinking. I'm not saying that it was correct or that she shouldn't have, you know, obviously she should have played it and should have learned from going back to back to back. And even just to be safe, right? Like if you can just get yourself one more tribal council, hopefully you're in a good enough position that you then you can use that to just survive one more day to make it longer in the game, right? So I do like, it was so frustrating that she didn't play it. I though could maybe understand the logic of like why it didn't happen, but still devastating to see.
Yeah, and it's tough because again, like the Tiffany vote, there was this big public display that left Q in a bad light. Obviously, this pizza thing is not as bad as the Applebee's debacle, but at the same time, like it still doesn't look great that, hey, Q gets to go on this thing again, and you know all the consternation that is thrown towards him and him getting everything that he wants. So again, I understand if like Venus had this in her mindset, especially like I imagine when you're already planning ahead, it's tough to sometimes see what's right in front of you of like, oh no, I'm going to go do this thing and then I'm going to do this thing that she was so excited planning with her idol that she didn't realize. I mean, I am going to put out a bold prediction. I think Survivor 48 might set the record for most idol plays in Survivor history.
Just play it. Get it,
Yeah.
play it.
Right.
Get it, play it. Get it, play
I think someone's going to find
Yes.
an idol and go to the immunity challenge and automatically play it. They're like,
Yeah.
Jeff, I'm going to play this right
I'm
now.
playing this already.
If I go to tribal council, I'm safe.
Yes, especially the most surprising one this season has been also Hunter. The way that Hunter went around and was telling everybody, it's like, also, by the way, if you find an idol, don't tell anyone. Literally, don't tell anyone. It is not worth it. It's like, and if you do, then just play it that episode, like play it that night at Tribal. I cannot believe how much the idol has really, I guess, just burned away in everyone's pockets. It's just sitting there on the way out. I can't imagine the reaction. Oh my gosh.
Well,
It's heartbreaking.
what I love about this cast and this season, though, is like you're talking about, Jamie, these are such disparate personalities in particular for this group, but they're all doing the same things. And that is one of the many illogically beautiful things about this group is like, you would think that Tiffany, Hunter, and Venus are three completely different people with three completely different approaches to the game and three different personalities. They all do the exact same thing, down to the person they think is going to go is the exact same person. Like,
Right?
it's, I still cannot.
Always do.
Yeah, like I am obsessed with the fact that now for 3 weeks in a row, for 6 days, for a week in the game, it's every day people have thought it's got to be Q that's going, and now every single time he doesn't go.
It is hilarious. Like, what are the odds? And why isn't anyone reading between the lines? I mean, I cannot believe. And I feel so bad for Venus, especially because she almost had that immunity win as well. It was so
I know.
close. I mean, and this was her episode, just the way that she barely lost, and then, you know, having the idol. And I always like to watch when people have the idol, you just have this like confidence. You do gain a bit of confidence. But if it is just blind confidence to the point where like you just won't play it, especially after what's happening, and especially when you don't have your social game, like when you don't have a depth of a social game, play the idol. Like, just get. I could see it in Venus though, like after she found it, and especially when she's going around, you know, with Kenzie, she has that confidence. But then it's like, if that's all you have to, if you don't have much to back that up, then you end up where she's at. But it was just, everything that could go wrong did go wrong for her, and it was the worst way. And I hate to see her go because she was so entertaining, and I loved watching her just kind of throw bombs. I mean, it's like, okay, what's Venus gonna do?
Yeah, between her and Liz, just like so much chaos out there, but in such a beautiful, wonderful way, you know?
Yeah.
I am obsessed with the fact that Nami is like the most dominant tribe of the new era. You know, one of the most dominant tribes of all time, only came in second place once, finished in first place, did a good name for the Orange Tribe, Jamie, in your honor. Its last remaining member is Liz.
I know. How I was actually waiting to see if Liz gets a deal with Applebee's, because the way that she had it teed up, and she said Applebee's like 12 times. I'm like, how much is Applebee's paying for this? Because this is fantastic, okay? I mean, it was insanity. The way that she had that whole scene, and then the way that they showed the burger not be eaten. My heart for Liz. It was, but I think Liz, though, at this point in the game, you know, what's Liz doing? She's there still. And I know that she's wanted earlier in the season. She wanted really, really badly to have credit. Like, everybody's trying to, you know, hey, that was my idea. This was my. But at this point, it's like she's sleeping while they're looking for the idol. She's just there.
I don't know.
Right?
I think that's next level, considering that the idols this season have been making people do the exact opposite thing. I'd be Liz.
So smart.
I'd be like, also, the best way to find an idol is to not look at all.
Yeah,
That's the smartest thing to do.
It's the safest thing to do because now it's like if you don't have an idol in your pocket, you're probably not going home. So she's setting herself up for success. But I mean, if she makes final 3, she did it, and we'll see if Applebee's wants to partner with her because that's it's been fun to watch Liz. I know that her freak out with the hunger, the hanger. She was very hangry. It was almost like it was misunderstood. I mean, I can see it both ways.
Mm-hmm.
Because you are so hungry. But I remember thinking, like, but you're playing this game. Like, you're going out there. And
you knew what you signed up for in a way,
Like, it's just chaos. And so she's been very entertaining because it's just like, you never know what you're going to get with Liz, okay? She's just...
Yes, I completely agree. And I think the other thing too is I'm shocked with everything that she can get away with and still be in the game. And everyone's like, guess we're keeping Liz. Like, I love that she can just be talking to Maria about how much she hates Q. Q walks up, Maria's like, and she's like, I don't care. This is why I have allergies. I suppressed myself for so long.
We need to talk about this because look, like I do not want to demean any sort of like any spiritualism behind like any sort of mind-body connection. I'm sure there is such a thing as like psychosomatic responses and all that. But what a wild monologue of Liz sitting there being like, Q is such an ass. He does all this stuff. And Q's walking behind him. Ray's like, Ixnay on the Utalk K. And she's like, you know what? No, I need to speak my mind. I've been silent for too long. And you know what? This sounds crazy. I think this is why I have so many fucking allergies. Because I've suppressed my own self for so long that my body started attacking things. I mean, in a season full of left turns, talk about 3 left turns of like, I don't know where the logic is going at this point. I'm along for the ride, but like, I'm not sure what the destination is at this point.
Oh my gosh.
So you can get like, you can have an autoimmune reaction as a result of like mental health conditions. It can cause an but that's not a reaction to coconut. Like your body is not like, I have been suppressing myself for too long. Oh, but coconut specifically is like what's going to trigger it, right? Like it's not a specific food allergy per se. So yes, there can be a link, but in Liz's case, I'm not 100% sure that it would cause being allergic to coconut.
That was the perfect comment for her to say. It's just like so funny, everything that she says. And then it's even more funny having Q just like prance around in the background, like just minding his business, like doing that. He's like,
but then like the grace thing is to like watch Q and Liz in reaction while the other one is like the main character of the episode. Like at Tribal Council, when Venus decides to just get into it with Q, being like, let's call facts out. This was a farce. She was never going to take me, and you would never take me either. I don't know if you saw what Liz was doing, but like she's in the corner going like some sort of fish out of water. Like, I don't know what the faces are and what the reason is behind it. Was she reacting to something else? Maybe she got some licorice stuck in the back of her teeth. I'm not sure, but it was just such a wild thing to look at on the peripherals every time that like Q is talking, or in this text, and Liz is talking to Q, who's just like walked in and just got like secondhandedly read to filth.
Oh my gosh. Maybe that's why Jeff gave him the licorice, because he needed that kind of response from everybody at Tribal. It is so funny though to see how I didn't notice that. I didn't notice that face. So now I need to go back and watch it, because she is just and it's like so confidently like when she says like, I need to speak my truth now, and it's like, Liz, you have been. Like, you spoke your truth very loudly last episode. Like, we all know where you're at. It is so funny, but we'll see what Liz has up her sleeve this coming up, her final 6.
I will also say, though, that there is a really nice secret scene that I'm really sad wasn't shown in the episode. It's up on EW.com right now, where Q and Liz, as much as we're talking about them being cats and dogs, that they are animals and they do make up a little bit.
Aww.
So
Q, look that up.
Yeah, so Q does apologize to Liz. They basically talk about how like they both kind of come from, understandably similar backgrounds. They both came from, poorer homes, and they both are, business owners. And so they understand each other. And so Liz is like honestly going through a bit of a mental block right now of like, I understand Q as a person better than I do him as a player. And so I really am having trouble getting past like, I should work with him, but God, I hate every single decision he makes out here. And like, I love that. That is so incredibly complicated and a dynamic we really don't ever see on the show. Usually it's the opposite, right? It's like, this person's a threat, but I have to figure out, I love them so much. How do I clip them in the end?
Yeah.
It's the exact opposite with Liz. It's like, oh, I cannot stand how he's playing, but I do like him as a person. How does that inform how I play?
All right. Wouldn't that be so cool if they partnered up for the rest of the season and like put all their differences aside and they came in and they were like the secret duo that took out Charlie and Maria? I mean, that's their path to the end. It would be
I'm
so cool.
so here for that. I love that idea.
I would love that, especially because we've seen them, at it so much.
Unlikely duo.
I mean,
Right?
I would love to see. I mean, but knowing this cast though, like I wouldn't be surprised if they just like rolled over in the middle of the night and they're like, "You want to work together?" Like, yeah, sure. It is sort of just, two of these, like they're not so different, the two of them, honestly. And I think maybe that's what makes them kind of repel at this point, like
Yeah.
like size of a magnet. So I think if they're able to find this, especially with Venus kind of being out, they need to fill that vacuum of chaos inevitably on Survivor 46, and a cooperative effort might just be the ticket that they may need to the final three. No, I don't know how they do in the final three with Venus now out. I would assume that whoever goes with the two of them would probably win, but stranger things have happened, let alone on this season.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
You never know. Like, let's say Charlie ends up with the two of them there, and everybody's like, you were just Maria's lapdog. You didn't do anything. These other two survived, blah, 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 whatever the justification is. Like, I think Kenzie called Charlie Maria's jester. So if Charlie still has that sort of vibe going into the final three, is Q or Liz our winner? You know what I'm saying? Like, look, there's a small, teeny, tiny chance, but there's a chance. I think it could happen.
Listen, we're one episode away from having both of these people in the finale, so like, let's hope it happens. Jamie, I'm excited that you say like you look forward to the final six with glee, because I don't want it to bring up any sort of like bad memories for you, you know?
I know. It's like you're so close. Oh, which by the way, I was just in London, and funny enough, I saw Drew at Oxford, like right after our tour. Random. I was like, we are end gamers running into each other randomly in Oxford. I'm like, this is so weird, so cool. It was weird. I did not plan it, did not even know he was going to Oxford, and he was there.
Did you just like, I mean, he's so tall, so you probably just like see his head like
yeah, that's exactly what it was. We were both walking across campus. We had just finished an Oxford tour, and we're walking towards each other, and my friend and I were like, wait, is that, we looked at each other, I'm like, that's Drew, and then I turned back, I'm like, Drew, and then we took a picture. It was so cool. I'm like, and then we kind of joked like, oh my gosh, final six, end gamers. It was fun. So I'm excited to see who this, who's going to join the final six club.
Yeah, are they going to have to take a trip to Oxford now? Is this a new tradition?
Yeah,
exactly.
Drew has to like indoctrinate them into the final six club.
Yeah, yes, exactly. That's our secret meeting place.
All right. Well, first we do have to focus on the person we lost in seventh place, and it is the aforementioned Venus. Ooh. I am so sad to lose her here. I thought she was. I'm sure I am both preaching in the choir and echoing what people have been saying for the past 11 weeks, but I think she was such electric television. Listen, do I wish she had a better, more positive experience out there on the island? Absolutely. That being said, the entertainment she was able to provide through said experience was so worthwhile. I think so much of the unique vibes of the season, that it was very cutting, a little bit more visceral, a little bit more vicious, as Jeff described, can almost be represented by Venus in a manner of speaking. And she is such a unique character, particularly when it comes to the new era, that I just had such a great time getting to watch her. And then her also kind of representing her cause towards the end as well. I know that she wasn't like saying I'm going to represent all Iranian women, but I think her speaking a bit about how that crisis had informed the way that she was so open in the game. I think was admirable and also brought a really nice, shade to the game that she was playing, as wild as it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. It definitely added like that perspective of like this is a game and she's going to go out there and play as hard as possible, which she did. And we love to see it because if everybody played like that, I mean, how entertaining and how much fun and how much more strategy do you really have to come with when you are having to kind of anticipate controlled chaos, or I mean random chaos really. I loved what she added to the game, and I am sad to see her go, but I think that and I hope that she knows that how much everybody loves her, because I know if on the island, I don't know the ins and outs, but I know she has a large fan base.
Mm-hmm. Well, Liana, all that being said, how high were your prospects for Liz in the preseason? When we were writing up our predictions, why'd I say Liz? I meant Venus.
Yeah.
I had Liz on the brain. I think I'm allergic to the word Venus now.
Well, look, I mean, being married to a Persian, we're very pro Venus, like very excited to see some representation on television. That being said, I was a little nervous for her. First of all, she's very tiny, adorably so, but in a situation where there's only 6 people on a tribe, and tribe strength early on is very valuable, I was nervous for her. So I did have her going pre-jury, and I wrote for her that I know, but I'm so happy I was wrong, right? Like that's the benefit of being wrong on these things.
Absolutely.
I can celebrate that. So I said that Venus's analytical demeanor allows her to easily see the early connections and divisions in her tribe. Her conclusion, unfortunately for her, is that she's on the outs of the power group of Soda, Liz, and Tevin, who I thought were all going to be like BFFs. I said that
they were for a hot second.
Yeah, for like 1 second, like the very first episode. Venus manages to scrape by the first Nami immunity loss with her relationship with Soda, but when Nami goes back to tribal, her lack of challenge strength leads to her being voted out. I also said that Venus would spend a lot of time looking for idols, although never found one. Venus really wanted to go on a journey, but her tribe, nervous about her sketchy behavior, didn't let her go. Her ally was Soda, and her enemy was Hunter.
Okay. Interesting. Well, listen, you and I, Liana, we're much like Liz and Q. We both come from the same background, and we both think the same things about Venus, evidently. Look, I loved talking with Venus, but I too, to your point, saw that even early on, like, her personality may not have vibed with what was going on Nami at the time, which, like, listen, Venus is lovely, but like they're singing camp songs and they're like laughing it up and having a great time. And we saw from the beginning that Venus was like, no, I want to go do this now. So I also had her going pre-jury. I said that we early on get Venus talking about her family's history immigrating from Iran and how that leads into her desire to become a lawyer. Unfortunately, that's shown early on because she is the second boot from the game. Venus has a tough time fitting into the present positive energy of Nami, though she does make a close bond with Soda after the latter clocked her in the pregame. Once Venus realizes the die is cast against her, she'll channel her best Courtney Yates and complain about her tribe members, both in confessional and to their faces. Venus gets crowned the biggest robbed G.Otis of the new era, as the Twitter fandom used her to spearhead a campaign to get her onto a probable returnee season in Survivor 50. Oh, okay.
Did you know something before the rest of us?
If I did, I didn't know it. Her, and much like Leon, I said her closest ally was Soda, and her enemy was herself.
Yeah.
So yeah, I will again repeat what you said. I love being wrong about these things, most of all because people exceed our expectations, and Venus absolutely did here. It's a lot like Emily, actually. Similarly, thought she was going to be in a lot of trouble early on socially, was able to recover and make it to 7th place, where they got booted surprisingly. So Jamie, between us two, who do you think was more on the money when it came to Venus? Of which, if we were making bets, we would get no money from it.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Mike, only because the read on Venus being her own worst enemy, I think that that's kind of what tripped her up the most in her game.
Yeah, 100%. I think that was definitely the case. I think, and even like in her, the move that I think really got her eliminated this episode, which was telling Charlie, like it was just her impulse. You know what I mean? Like it was just, she just wanted to say something. She couldn't help herself. So I think that's absolutely accurate.
Oh, and she was so excited.
I know. Again, like it was, and then when she had that dialogue with Kenzie being like, "Oh, I would feel so bad if I was voted out with the idol in her pocket." Like I know the editors had to use it, but it didn't make it any less painful to watch it.
Like her whole episode, like the immunity challenge, that conversation. I mean, it was just everything that could go wrong went wrong.
Yeah, how do you react to that, Jamie? Because I know, listen, the editor certainly had fun with you sometimes, admittedly, when it came to like you laughing about your idol as it flashed in the lower third. So, like, do you react to that stuff with like more sympathy for the people that are involved in those types of edits?
Yes, but I think you have to watch it as a viewer versus a player, because you are not necessarily watching the game that unfolded on the island and was happening. You are watching the curated version of the story of the final three. And so if you can kind of really step into the character that that they built out of you and what you gave them, and laugh with it, like laugh with everyone. I remember everyone's like, we wanted to see Jamie play her idol. It's like, I wanted to play my fake idol. Like I would have loved to have had that iconic moment of playing a fake idol that was built by a so-called ally in the beginning of the game. How cool would that be? That's like, and then have Jeff throw it in the fire. I wanted that too. So it's like, you have to kind of laugh at yourself. You have to laugh at yourself. You really do, because it's not that serious. It's like, yes, it's for $1 million and you're playing this very like serious, intense, hardcore game. But when you're watching it back as entertainment, it's been on air for so long, entertaining a broad audience, that you just have to watch it and like relish in the fact that like you played a game like that you love, and you can't let anything take any of that away. So it's like, yes, I sympathize with like people maybe, like, oh, like the editors, they just really took it, but it's like they're creating entertainment that's like hilarious. And it's like, I almost want to be like, good on you. Like that was like, what if you didn't use that, I would be mad, like all the times where I'm like, my idol, it's like, you were teed up so perfectly, editors, like use it all, and you have to laugh at yourself the entire time, because it's just a game and it's not that serious. And if people are going to, you have to just laugh with everyone that's laughing at you.
Yeah, and I think as well, it sort of is like, the edit is like the jar of rice being given to Liz. As Kenzie would say, like, I'd be mad at you if you didn't take it. Editors, I'd be mad at you if you didn't take all these sound bites I was serving up to you on a silver platter.
Right, exactly. That's exactly it. And if, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say, like, genuinely, that's such a refreshing and smart and healthy perspective to have.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like, I could not, I'm almost blown away. I want to put it like on a cross stitch or something. Like, that's so smart, because that's really is what's happening, right? You have to draw the distinction between everything that actually happened versus, like you said, the sort of narrative of the final three. And I love that. I absolutely love that.
And I think it's also, the healthiest way to leave the show, honestly, in a show that puts you in an environment that deprives you to the point where I understand and I sympathize and empathize with those that do not leave in an okay place due to being the center of their own narrative and then being presented a narrative in which, to your point, Jamie, you're really not. It's got to be such an odd, discordant thing, because then it makes you question, like, no, wait, then was my read of things different? Like, am I seeing things a different way? But then I think you having this fundamental digestion of, at the end of the day, this is a version of the story that's being told, not the version of the story being told, is a fundamental truth for all the players out there.
Yes, exactly. And you have to be okay with rooting for all of it. It's like, if once you get voted out, it's like you're rooting then for everyone else that's still there. I mean, I can't imagine why you wouldn't. And I know there's this whole conversation about like old school players versus new school. New school, they're too nice and kumbaya, but it's like, it's not that serious. Like, we're playing a game for $1 million that we've all dreamt about playing. And So for any comment or anything to take that away from you or to put a bitter taste in your mouth about anything, it's just like so sad to me because it's like everyone, like, we dreamt about this. We like wished, like we wanted to see ourselves playing on this island and at tribal council with Jeff and like with our torch, and it came true. That's the coolest thing on the planet. And so for anyone to say anything to take that away from you, it's like you can't give anyone that power. You can't even give the collective that power, because if there's a collective that is all agreeing, so if there's like like the fan bases, like the within the fan base that are agreeing on like this certain player or this certain player, it's like you can't give them that power. It's like, no, you were there, you played, and it's the greatest thing on the planet because you had a dream come true. And I don't know, I just think it's sad when you leave the island and you can't leave with that same like joy that we all left with, and kind of face the edit and like really lean into edit with like that joy that you had when you left, because it was so pure and so amazing. You have to just always kind of remember your experience versus like the edit and versus like fan reaction.
Yeah.
There's like so many things that you're kind of dealing with in post game that is so important to remember, because if you don't have that, like that your narrative or your story told, it's like not the end of the world. It's just like you weren't the winner, and that's okay. There's only one winner. Like there's one winner.
Yeah, I did so beautifully put. And that's why I awkwardly segue into our game of the week. Now,
Yay!
Liana talks about wanting to stitch Jaime's incredibly valuable advice on a pillow. And maybe that will be one of the products involved in the Survivor-themed haul that I have put together as, come on down, we're going to be playing one of our B&B staples. It's called The Price is Rourke. And here's how this is going to work. I've scoured the interwebs to find... Are you laughing at the picture of Jeff?
Yes.
I think this is from when they had Price is Right primetime specials on last fall because of the writer's strike, and Jeff showed up one time. And for those that are not watching along, Jeff is in front of, I think it's called Punch a Bunch. Actually, I know it is because the title of the game is right there. But it's a picture of Jeff holding a giant $25,000 bill with Drew Carey's face on it in full color.
Love it.
His face. I actually thought it was fake at first, but yeah.
I think this is what he imagined fire tokens to be initially. But the way this is going to work is that I have found a bunch of Survivor-themed items online for purchase. We're going to go one item at a time. You are each going to guess the price of the item. Whoever is the closest without going over for that item will get the point. And whoever has the most points at the end of the game wins. Jaime, you have the excitability at all times of a contestant coming down to play The Price is Right. I think you played The Price is Right before, right?
I did.
That's why. Okay, perfect. I had some sort of Slumdog memory in my mind of like, I feel like she's either has an association with it or she's played it before. I feel like this is the right game to do.
Yes, but it was back in Bob Barker days, so like the real Price is Right.
Oh no, are you going to be like one of those new era Price is Right? Isn't as hard?
Exactly.
Old school Price is Right.
Yeah, I love it.
Back in my day, we were told to spay our pets.
Exactly.
They don't do that anymore. All right, well, Jaime, let's see if you still got the touch.
Ooh, okay.
So again, you're each going to get a chance to bid on this item, and we'll do closest without going over.
Okay.
To start, here's something, Jaime, that you might have had some experience with. This is a Survivor Hidden Immunity Idol rules parchment.
Ooh,
so not
okay.
the idol. This is, of course, we have some lovely shops out there on the internet that create facsimiles of little challenges, of idols, of necklaces, etc. This is just the parchment that gives the verbiage of a hidden immunity idol.
Okay, so I'm just guessing dollars, right?
So you're guessing dollars. Yeah, you can guess first.
This is online, and it's not a real one. It's somebody created it.
Somebody created this. Yes, I will say this is from Etsy. This is from the shop known as Katie Tedesco Art.
Okay, I think you can sell it on Etsy. I'm going to say $24.99.
$24.99 from Jamie. What do you think, Liana?
Oh, wow. I was thinking like $5 because it's like a piece of paper, right? That's all it is. Do you get the twine also?
You get the Sandra, the Diaz, and the twine.
Okay, so then that'll bump it up a little bit. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna stick with my gut of $5.
Liana, your gut may be infested with pizza, but it is correct. $6
Oh my
for
gosh. I
Oh,
was
the
way
Survivor
off.
Hidden Immunity Idol rules parchment. A steal!
yeah. Although actually, that should be something to the Etsy seller. Jamie would pay $24 maybe for that.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is more
You
so, I
know?
think, judging the two of you as to how much would I pay for this thing?
Yeah.
Right. They are lowballing themselves. I mean, that's a lot. That's a really quick little click for Etsy. Raise the price.
All right, so next up, how about a
Yes.
nice sweet aroma to bring us into our next item here?
Candle.
Sabaya, avert your eyes. The tribe has spoken. Survivor,
Oh,
reality
cute.
TV enthusiast, iconic line, must have, quote, candle. That is the name to the letter on the Etsy listing. This is from Etsy
Okay.
store James Wax. I can read a bit of a description here. The tribe has spoken candle. Choose a scent to mark a final decision with this Survivor-inspired candle. It's a tribute to the game's iconic catchphrase, symbolizing the end of a chapter and the beginning of a new journey. You can choose between black currant and rose, mimosa and pineapple, or
Ooh.
white tea and sage.
Congratulations.
You got balloons. I
The
want
balloons came in response to
Yeah.
this, the smell
That's
of
cool.
helium and molted plastic. I'm not sure what's more appealing to them, but Liana, regardless, what are you smelling as the cost for this candle?
Yes. Okay. So, as someone who does purchase a lot of candles, I feel like this is probably around the $20 mark. So, I'm going to
Ooh.
say $20.
$20. Okay, Jamie,
Yeah.
what about you? Price for the candle?
Ooh, Price is Right rules. I'm gonna go $10.
Smart.
Okay, Jamie low balls it, and she gets it here. $17.97. So Liana, they stiffed you by a couple bucks, but you were in the relative price range.
What are we learning? Raise the price.
Yeah,
Raise the price.
No, please, let's not bring inflation into our Survivor items. We have enough of it nowadays.
Oh boy. Okay. All right. We're all tied up then.
We're all tied up. Next item.
Okay.
Survivor
Oh.
fan favorites badge hoodie. Now, I inserted two pictures here because, of course, the picture on the left is the hoodie, but I'll show you what's on the right here. Because this hoodie is adorned with, quote, fan favorites badge, which looks to be graphic representations of seasons of the show proper. So, like, I see one for Borneo, I see one for Heroes versus Villains, Cagayan, Pearl Islands, Micronesia, Cambodia. Then there's also Survivor, Outwit, Outplay, Outlast, The Tribe Has Spoken. Then there's just a picture of fish.
Is this on Etsy or is it on?
This
on
is on
CBS?
the official Paramount store.
Oh, okay. So it's
Oh.
official.
Those are my two sellers that I jump back and forth between. So make of that what you will. Jamie, you can guess first.
Okay, so because it's Paramount, I'm gonna say it is $49.99.
$49.99.
Ugh.
Liana.
So I was gonna say $50. Like actually, so same wavelength. But I think I'm gonna be strategic. I'm gonna say $1.
Oh, good one. Okay.
Okay, so
Did I do
Liana
it?
is trying
Did I
to
Price is Right
make
it?
it somewhere in between. The
Please be
price
60.
is wrong. Yeah, Jamie, you were more on the mark with that price you threw out there, but go a little bit higher. $69.95.
I'm sorry. This is $70.
$70 for, but hey, it's got a lot of badges on it.
Wow.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Do they sell these badges as stickers?
Yeah,
I
they're
think
on our
they
stickers.
might.
Okay, because they should. Because I would legitimately buy the stickers. The hoodie is ugly, but I would buy the stickers.
I think the stickers are like $4.99 on there.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure.
So you could theoretically
maybe
buy a
I-
hoodie that's this color
And just
and just decal it. Yeah, and iron it on.
stick them on.
Right?
They remind me of the like the national park stickers. That like you get your
Yes.
national park sticker. That's like the energy it's giving.
Oh yeah, and I think that's what they're going
cute.
for. And I really like it. I wish
Yeah.
they did like a facsimile for all the seasons. I know there are probably some seasons they want to forget about, but I love whoever did these mock-ups.
They're very
they're really
pretty.
cute. I like
Mhm.
them.
All right, let's swim through like this fish picture to our next one. And we move from the upper half of the body to the lower one. Survivor
Oh,
Jungle Print Socks. If you buy a
Mhm.
cameo from your favorite Survivor player, depending on the price, you might get them to wear these socks.
ooh.
All right, so
Okay.
just to describe it, we've got they're green. They have like they're called jungle print. It seems to be mainly just like miscellaneous leaves. I think there's a skull. It looks like a skull. I don't know if it's a skull. It looks
I-
skull-like.
Are there not two skulls? Oh, is that it's like skull, shark, clam?
Yeah, like fish, coconut,
Lizard.
lizard,
Lizard,
geckos there. And then,
yeah.
of course, printed on the feet are the tribe on one foot and has
Mhm.
spoken on the other
Ah,
foot.
Those are cute. I
Cute.
want to order those.
All right, well, we'll
Um,
see. It might be out of your price range, JB, depending on what
my
ends up
gosh.
being the actual cost here. Liana, what do you think?
Right, because this is official CBS store, I'm
It is.
guessing, based on the logo. Yeah, so based on the hoodie, oh my god. I'm gonna say $14.99.
$14.99. Jamie, what
Oh.
about you?
I'm gonna say, well, I'm gonna go $5.99 only because $5.99.
Liana, you were so close.
Who prices socks at $13.97? Oh my god, I'm gonna need to talk with someone at the CBS store. Like, I can't believe that.
Oh my god. So yeah,
Fine, whatever.
$13.97. Liana was 98 cents over.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Wow. All right. Well, yeah. So if you have $14 to spend, a little under, you
Yeah,
can
wow.
get these socks. You can figure out truly if it's a skull or a coconut up close.
Right?
It kind of looks like night vision, like the color of like
Yeah,
post-tribal.
Yes, or like the morning chats that we are apparently
Yes.
so important. Yeah, I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, where someone walks up to like someone that's left out of the vote and is like, "Hey, you doing okay?" They're like, "I'm gonna work with you now forever."
Yeah.
All right, next item. Survivor TV show retro throw blanket. So this is a blanket from Etsy.
Okay.
Just to describe it, it's a little bit of a gradient from yellow to blue, and it says wait out, play out, last in an arch. Then we have a bunch of like iconography on the bottom. We have an immunity necklace. We have some handshakes going on. Then it says the tribe has spoken. Above that, Survivor. Above that, we have this interesting geography where it's waves leading to trees leading to the mountains. And then I feel like I'm being hypnotized because it's the sun, but it looks like an eyeball, no?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, Jamie, for this piece of Illuminati propaganda, how much are you paying for it?
Ooh, blanket. What's the material?
Yes.
I can look that up for you.
And the dimensions actually would also be very helpful. Like, are we talking like a blanket or like a little like
So
throw
it is
blanket?
velveteen, like the
Okay.
rabbit. It is 100% polyester. There are 3 sizes available.
Oh, wow.
30 by 40, 50 by 60, and 60 by 80. I chose the 30 by 40 option. So the cheapest blanket you can get.
Wait, 30 inches?
By 40 inches.
I'm gonna say this one. I'm gonna say my $24.99. I feel like
$24.99. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get a sense of what 30 inches is like, because I feel like that's not that big.
And also, well, and I also
It's
think
it's 2.5 feet. Yeah.
Yeah, that's 30 inches. This distance.
Oh,
That's 30
that's like a
inches.
towel. Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty small. What did you say, Jamie? You said 24 something?
$24.99.
$24.99. Yeah.
See, I think it's probably still more than that. I'm gonna go with $30. Did I get it?
I'm so sorry.
No!
I am
forever listing anything as 97 just to be on the safe side. I should have said 29.97.
This feels like when Venus got the ball right to the end and it bounced out of the hole. You were so close.
I truly feel like I'm not playing my idol. Like I feel like I'm consistently going home with an idol in my pocket.
That's unbelievable.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. Well.
So yeah, $30. It's like $1 per inch, basically.
Right.
Which in certain corners of the market is a pretty good deal. All right, next up. Survivor Sunset. Speaking of getting wood, Survivor Sunset Home Decor. Outwit, Outplay, Outlast. Sign wall art gift box for Survivor super fans of the show.
That is so cute.
It's really impressively done. So yeah, this is
how big is it?
All right, so let's give some dimensions here. 11 inches by 7 inches, and it is all it's wooden and it is laser cut. So it is the logo. Outwit, Outplay, Outlast. This is like if it was, I don't know, like Survivor Colorado River, considering that the two symbols on the other side of it are oars and the logo itself is like placid water with a sunset behind it.
Mm-hmm. Oof. This is tough because if I remember, we've done this game before, and things like this can be wildly all over the place.
Right. I believe we had like a sign that was, I don't think it was made by the same person, but was very similar.
Right. So, okay, I'm going to learn from my previous mistakes, and I am going to say 1997.
Good year. 1997. Ooh. Jamie, what about you?
I'm going to say, let's say $24.99.
$24.99. Y'all were low balling this one big time. $54.95.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's very well made. I think laser cutting don't pay for itself.
Yeah, it is really pretty too. I like it. It's like I would put that in the center of like my shadow box with Survivor memorabilia. Mm-hmm. It's really cute. I love that.
Well, if you want to get it, it's from Cutthroat Island as the user. So I believe actually there's only one left, and it's in 7 carts. So good luck.
It's popular.
All right, next up, Survivor Challenge Replica.
Oh,
now
that
look,
would be fun.
For many reasons, I've kind of stayed away from the online challenge shop game. This is one that I made an exception for, though, because this is new. This is obviously a take on the arch puzzle that we experienced a bit in Survivor 45 with the Oxford Man, but also more pertinently, I think, in Survivor 46 when they did the giant version with persistence, however you spell it. So this has an additional wrinkle, though, because not only is it a facsimile of this puzzle, but it seems like it's customizable. It seems like you can put your own phrase on it. There's 15 blocks and 2 end pieces, and you can send them a phrase to write on it. So it can be sort of like those boards where you put the letters in like they do on the circle to like put messages out to each other, only you can only do it once, and it's in the form of an arch puzzle.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that it's customizable, but the fact that it's customizable probably means it's going to be more expensive, right? Because essentially it's made to order.
I don't know what I would write if I was...
Do you have to have however many characters this is?
I mean, I think you can put a lot of blanks in between. Like, if I was a troll, I'd put like nudes in bio in there.
Yeah.
I like that it's the mini. It's like the mini version that looks like a table that it's sitting on.
Yeah, it is.
Right. So it's like a small. Okay.
Yeah. So the pieces are cut from 4-inch by 4-inch pine post. So I'm not sure.
Oh, so they're chunky boys. Okay.
Wow. Is it my guess?
Yeah, I think it's you, Jamie.
Okay, I'm gonna say. Ooh, it's pretty. Let's say $34.99 because I feel like it's a big chunk of a game. Yeah, let's say
$34.99 from Jaime and Liana.
Okay, I think the fact that it's custom and it's solid wood means it's going to be more expensive than that. So I'm going to go with $79.97.
Yeah, so take that and nearly triple it. $192.50.
Oh,
What?
wow. Okay, yeah, we were way off.
Yeah, I mean, Liana, you are technically corrected that you are the closer one, but yeah, I think it's this combination of probably being one of the rarer ones created, on top of the customizability, on top of the fact that these are, handcrafted wood pieces that they would pretty much have to make. That, yeah, it seems like, and actually, cut unfinished is $192.50. Cut, sanded, and painted, $629.30.
What, 600?
And $29.30.
Whoa.
Wow. But I get it. It is like the wood. I get it. I guess I just didn't realize, like, wow, that's
Right, like how much it would be.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay,
this,
wow,
this
that's
is one of those
amazing.
gifts
Good for
that, like,
them.
if you get from somebody, you're like, you must really love me to spend
Yeah.
this amount. And as long if whatever's written out on there, I am taking it with love. It could be like, you smell terrible, and I'm like, I'm gonna treasure this forever. I will parade it
Yeah.
across my house.
Mhm.
It would be a really fun one to practice the balancing and yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
If
how
you
to
ha-
put all the pieces.
If you have a collection going of like Survivor games in your backyard, I like it.
Or for like a Survivor themed birthday party or like a party or
Yes.
something like that.
Yeah, I could say happy
Be very
birthday on
cool.
there.
Yes. I love that
Yeah.
idea. That's such a good idea.
All right, so if everyone has $200 to $630 lying around, this is good to spend. This is from, if you're so interested, this is from Vexel Puzzles.
Mm.
Okay,
Moving
cool.
on. In my Survivor era shirt, sweatshirt, Survivor fan tee, reality TV shirt, Survivor party hoodie, gift for Survivor fan, Survivor themed tee. So yeah, it is someone trying to pull their best mistress, Isabel Brooks, and wearing a shirt that cheekily says, in my Survivor era.
Okay.
All right, Liana, what are you thinking about this? And
Yeah,
also the price of it.
Right. So this is just a t-shirt, right? So just like
Oh,
a plain.
it could be a t-shirt. It's like for the print itself.
Oh, print on demand. Okay.
Yeah, you can
Oh,
pretty
I
much use
see.
it
Yeah.
for anything.
But the price that you chose, is it on a t-shirt, right?
Yes,
Or
it is.
okay, because
Okay.
yeah, just for the textile
Good
cost.
question. Yeah.
Okay, so then if it's just a t-shirt, I'm going to err on the side of caution, and I'm going to go with $17.97.
$17.97. Jamie, what do you think?
Ooh, why do I always want to say $24.99? No, I'm gonna say I'm gonna say $20.99.
Now it's Jamie's turn to be so close, yet so far away.
Oh,
$1
no,
dollar off.
No,
Oh
and
my
who guesses
gosh.
20 Why did I guess $20.99? Okay, yes, okay.
I love
brutal.
it just because it's like, God, they're trying so hard. They're trying so. I'm in my
Yeah.
Survivor era.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. It's cute though. I like it. I like I also like that. Have you guys seen that Jeff shirt where it's like that old school where there's a bunch of different versions of Jeff on it?
Yes.
It says,
Not
like,
only was he the last one on that one, I bought one. I think Liana. Well, Liana bought. So I bought the Eras Tour one. Liana, I think, is going to perhaps retrieve her version of said shirt.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yes, that I want that shirt. Where is it on Etsy? I love it.
Yeah,
Oh my
it's
gosh.
amazing. I love it.
That shirt. Oh my
Well,
gosh.
hold your tongue. There might be one more item that could tickle your fancy a bit more in terms of Probst-based content, but we're not there quite yet. Now, we are talking about eras, and so it only makes sense that we talk about friendship bracelets.
Oh,
So
okay.
these are a 2-pack of stretch bracelets for your Soul Survivor that says Soul Survivor on them. What do you think, Jamie?
Let's see. Okay. 2-pack. Oh.
Yeah, I'm more of a
$7.90
biggie guy personally, but
I'm gonna say $7.99. Which, P.S. Wouldn't it be a great merch for Charlie, or is he already doing that? Like doing
I don't think he's
friendship
doing it now.
bracelets?
Well, he should.
Like,
He
right?
should.
I'm
gonna
surprised
say
he's not making them on
$7.99.
the island.
I know, right? With all of the tools that you have out there.
All right. Liana, what about you? $7.99 for Jamie.
I know. I think that's such a good guess. First of all, I can only see them as like friendship bracelets. Like you give one to one person and then like you have the other, but then it's like who gets the sole survivor one? Because then it's like
Right.
kind of like who gets the
Yeah,
one
because the other one's like nondescript.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. I'm gonna guess a little bit. I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna go a little bit above. I'm gonna say 897.
So Liana gets it, but you were both, again, just a wee bit under
Oh wow.
$23.40. They don't say
Wow.
what the material is on the actual beads themselves. Maybe that's contributing to it, or maybe it's just like the handmade aspect of it. But yeah, $23.40 for these two bracelets.
Wow.
Yeah, they must be like heavier, like higher quality than like
Yeah.
the sort of, tin.
I do wonder as well, maybe is it based off of Survivor 43? Remember they had the friendship bracelets as their idols?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
That would have been
Maybe.
fun. All right, we got a couple items left. Survivor location list, adult crew neck. We're going back to the Paramount store for this next one here.
Okay.
So this is a crew neck sweater, but if you look really closely, and this is the only shot I could get of the arms, they don't have a dead-on shot of the arms for whatever reason. Written on the arms are the names of both the locations for the show, and also because they didn't run and write Fiji like 20 times, they also wrote like themes of these seasons. Apologies, Jamie, they didn't write the numbers 41 through 46 of them. Only seasons that
Aw.
had names on them are what are affiliated with them.
Wait,
Okay.
is it on either like I see I think what I think is Palau. But do they like match on either side? Is it the same on
No,
both sides?
It's
or
not
no,
the
it's
same on
different
both
either
sides. So
side?
I can
It's like
read
20 and 20.
Yeah, so we have like on the left is Gabon, Ghost Island, Island of the Idols, the Australian Outback, Redemption Island, Borneo, Cook Islands,
Yeah, okay.
Cambodia, etc. And the other side is Africa, the Amazon, Vanuatu, Cagayan, Caramoan, China, etc. So it's basically
Yeah, okay.
the exact text taken from the logos put on the arms of a shirt.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
So let's see, Liana, what do you have up your sleeves for this guess?
See, I'm like traumatized by the $70 hoodie. So my initial thought was like, oh, like $30, but I don't think that that's accurate. So I'm gonna go with $49.97.
$49.97. Jamie, what about you?
I think you're gonna get it. I'm gonna say 55.
It goes to Jamie.
64.
$65.
$5
Wow.
less than
That's
the hoodie.
expensive.
Screen printing apparently is expensive because you have to print every season name on the arms of these shirts.
Wow.
Wow. That's a lot. Do you pay by season? What does it cost per?
Yeah, I guess
per
if you break it
season?
down, because
More
there
than
are.
$1.
Let's see. I'm just trying to look right now, do a quick count. I think there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I think there's 32 on each side. So it's about
Okay,
$2
it's like
per name.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh my gosh.
That's wild.
Can you pick your color? Are they all green?
So you can choose between. Nope, it's only green. It's green or
wow.
nothing.
Okay.
You will pay $65 for our green shirt, and you will like it. All right, last but certainly not least, I was thinking like I gotta round this out with something fun, and I saw this, and this has to be the definition of fun. Comfort color homage graphic unisex T-shirt. Jeff T-shirt, Graphic Props 2023 T-shirt, retro 90s fan tee gift for men, women unisex T-shirt.
Where did they get that picture?
Yes.
God only knows. Okay, so to describe this looks like, I will admit, a sufficiently used black T-shirt, considering the color of it. Printed on it is a picture of Jeff Probst staring lovingly into the camera, wearing a white cowboy hat.
But yeah, but actually, is this like a real picture or is this AI or something?
AI?
Maybe. When did Jeff take this weird yearbook photo?
So this is how much of a goddamn Survivor nerd I am.
Oh,
so,
God, you know, don't you?
I'm fairly sure if I'm looking at the background of the photo, that this is probably the cast photos for Survivor the Australian Outback, which wasn't done on set. It was sort of done in like those like Lifetime Studios like headshots.
Yeah.
So I think this is, and plus like this feels very Australian to me, right? Jeff kind of wearing the Crocodile Dundee hat.
Yeah.
So if you want some, key insights from some of the reviewers, the item does not look right at all. I choose the same color that was in the listing photo, hoping that the review from a prior customer was a fluke. This is extremely disappointing, and I'm surprised that the seller felt comfortable sending out such a poor outcome for an item. My husband burst out laughing because it was downright comically bad.
Oh no.
Sad.
That's so sad.
So I'm gonna. Is it?
Yeah, I think it's you. It's Jamie. You know what? Yeah, bring us home. Let's see how you feel about this one. How much do you think this piece of, I'm gonna say, art is worth?
Because that review didn't ask for their money back, I'm gonna say $14.99.
$14.99, Liana. I think you were mathematically eliminated, but let's see if you can get this T-shirt just for a moral victory.
Yeah.
Give a final guess here.
So yeah, it's tough. I feel like a lot of these T-shirts are around like $20 to $25. So I think that in the spirit of having Jamie on as our guest, I'm going with $24.99.
All right. Well, it is going to go to Jamie because 1884, which is like the year that Jeff Probst looks like he's from with this prospecting hat. That is the price of this screen printed shirt. God, you know what? I might have to order this. I feel like I come out of everyone being like, I want to find something to order.
Yes.
I kind of want to wear this.
Yes.
I also
want to wear it too.
I want to know what it looks like also. Like given the reviews,
let's
you know what I mean?
This. Let me share my screen.
The material, like what is the T-shirt? It looks like vintagey.
All right, well, let me do this. So I'll bring in some photos from the reviews here. So
God.
So this is Paranormal Activity.
Oh my God, that's horrible.
So this is the one that the husband burst out laughing from.
But like it doesn't even
that's not even the same picture.
Yes, exactly. It's horrible. It's horrible. It's horrifying.
Oh my God.
He has God. Like, what is wrong with his? Is that a mustache? Like,
so I think the top part got smudged a little bit, so he looks like a little Frida Kahlo. Like he has a little bit of an eyebrow, but then the middle part of his mustache got erased.
Like he's not even smiling. Like it's like.
Yeah, he's like pouting. Oh, these are terrifying.
This is a prank. Who's doing this? This
is I don't know which one I like more.
Oh my gosh.
Do I like high contrast Jeff Probst, or do I like them French fried taters Jeff Probst?
Oh my gosh, these are absolutely terrifying. Now we I think we now each have to order one and see what shows up because genuinely
send me the link because
Yes, I'm absolutely sending you the link right now. All right, let's get this off our screens before people lose their lunch. The Q823 slices of pizza, and they are all upchucked right now upon seeing that. Oh my God! Well, congratulations, Jamie. It proves that. Listen, you can never really get too far from having the prices right in your blood. It's like riding a bike, and you have become the master of this game, winning handily. Congratulations!
Yay! That was fun. I love that little game. That was really cool.
Well, to finish things off, I will leave the spotlight in the winner's corner here at the end of every episode of the B&B. We give some time to our guest to highlight a charity or a cause that they feel is important to them. What would you like to highlight this week, Jamie?
Yes, I would like to highlight the Foundry Sol, which is an organization that I'm really closely involved with. It is we give back yoga to underserved communities in the Phoenix area. So we give yoga teacher trainings, and we also give memberships to underserved communities so that everyone can benefit from the healing properties of yoga. And that is near and dear to my heart. It's the Foundry Sol. You can find it on Instagram at the Foundry Sol. And yeah, or contact me. It's an amazing cause, and we're so grateful to be able to give back in a big capacity here in the Phoenix metro area and part of California.
Oh, nice. Well, that is
Yeah.
amazing to hear. And Jamie, this was an incredible time. I think when we were first watching 44, Leon and I both thought your energy was just perfect for the B&B
Aw.
because of how much, to your early, again, beautifully valid point, like, you you don't take things too seriously especially when it comes to Survivor and just the joyous experience that it contains. And so I think you were such a perfect guest as an idea for
Aw.
the game, and the execution came out perfectly as well. This was such a fantastic time. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yes, I had so much fun. Thank you. You guys are amazing, and love being here. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, we love having you. Well, I'll throw the plugs back your way. Is there anything in particular you'd like to plug from a social media perspective for all the avid Survivor fans out there?
Oh yeah, you can find me across the board on social media at Jaime Lynn Ruiz on Instagram. I'm not really active on Twitter, but I'm on Twitter, TikTok. I love TikTok. Yeah, you can find me there and say hello.
All right, Liana, what podcast can we say hello this week for you?
Yes. So Puya and I are lumping together some of the final Masked Singer podcasts together due to him traveling, being in Chicago, and all that jazz. So that will be coming out this week. We're going to do a doubleheader essentially for the Masked Singer. And then Drag Race is back, apparently. I was reminded that it is going to be coming back this Friday. I had it on my calendar, but I didn't realize. Anyway, it's happening. We're all ready. We're excited.
Are we ready?
No, no, but we will be by the time it gets to Friday. So streaming on Paramount Plus for All Stars 9, and of course the Drag Race crew. We're going to be back covering that.
I do wonder if there's Drag Race merch on the Paramount store. I feel like y'all might
Do you
have to.
think? I feel
I
like
think
so many queens have their own merch, or
and
I
I
guess
think
it would
it
be
used to be on World of Wonder, or I think
who
it was
owns
on
the rights to it, right?
Mhm.
yeah.
if World of
Or-
if the WoW owns it or something, there might be some.
Yeah, there's I'm seeing there's brands, you can get MTV brands, but I don't know if you can get Drag Race themed stuff, because I think it's because it's pre-existing, it kind of probably is saddled up with a different type of merchandiser at that point. And also, to your point, Drag Race is literally all about merchandising and branding, so I don't think I don't know if they necessarily be able to trap the queens into a contract where they can utilize their images in generic
Right.
$70 hoodies.
Yeah, Jamie was right though. There's a bunch on the World of Wonder, store.worldofwonder.com if you're interested in pursuing some official merch from Drag Race.
Yeah, you should do a Price's Work one time if you
I know.
during All Stars 9.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, you can follow me at a Mike Bloom type. Of course, I got the opportunity to talk with Venus this week, and it was great. Of course, in true Venus fashion, she did not relent when it came to talking about the game, her place in it, what happened at the end of it, her feeling about some of her contestants, as well as her approach, again, relating it back to the cause that she represents with every breath that she takes. I had a really great time. I hope everyone did checking it out as well. Also, I talked with the team most recently eliminated from The Amazing Race. The finale for that is coming up this week. I cannot believe we are near the end of this wave of reality television as the Big Brother tsunami looms on the horizon. So we're just going to surf it out the best that we can. I've talked to The Circle actually earlier tonight. Tara and Puya and myself talked with QT from this most recent season of The Circle, who is a big RHAP fan, a big Big Brother fan, and Survivor fan as well. So it was very fun to talk with one of the stars of the season there. I talked The GOAT. Jamie, have you been watching The GOAT?
No, I am. My plan is to binge it this week. So I know there's 3 episodes out, right?
So there's 3 episodes. There'll be
Yes.
4 on Thursday. It's now releasing weekly. It is so freaking messy so
I'm
far.
so excited.
It's unbelievably messy. I very much encourage people check it out. It's on Freevee. It's free on Freevee, but it's also on Prime Video. I covered that with Matt and Scally. I'm also doing a coverage of the Challenge All-Stars as well. Again, we are living in a glut of reality TV right now. 23 pizza slices worth. And like Q, I don't feel guilty about consuming it or writing about it or talking about it at all. As will be the case next week as Liana and I begin to round the corner here. The penultimate episode of Survivor 46 is coming up. And of course, we'll get together this weekend. Guest TBD, still trying to nail down the final things on that. But we'll be back talking about surely some more shenanigans that will be happening with this group as the end game is in sight. I'll also be appearing on that week's Club Condo as well, getting together with the last feedback show of the season, just under a bit of a different name. So I'll be getting together with Robin Chappelle for seemingly more silliness and zaniness around what has been a very silly and zany season so far. If you have game ideas, we are near, the final bend of the track here, but we're always accepting for them. You can email us, rhapbnb@gmail.com, or you can use social media, #rhapbnb. If you find this merch, if you have other merch ideas, honestly, if you find other random stuff, send them to me. And I might purchase them. I might look into them. I might send them out to the current party to see if they want to be interested in them, because yeah, the Survivor world is weird and wonderful. And if anything is to prove
Love
that,
it.
it is that Uncanny
Mhm.
Valley Jeff Probst shirt that we are all going to be donning the next time we get together. But
Yes.
they may not be next week, when Liana and I will be back to break down the penultimate episode of Survivor 46. Thank you all so much. Thank you to the team behind the scenes at RHAP for putting this all together for your eyes and ears, and Will from America for his fantastic theme song. Jamie, thank you again. This was such a delightful time. Until next week, everybody, we'll check you out at your next stay.